Hello, welcome back to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and please check out my channel for other updates. So the last update about Twist of Fate, Rhea conspired and get Prachi arrested again forcefully, and Rhea and Alia's evil plan works, of course, and they get Prachi arrested. But the inspector was saying that he doesn't believe Rhea's claims. Let's continue from there. Rhea tells the inspector that Prachi wants to kill her and demands the inspector to arrest her. Alia says Rhea is attacked and there is a danger to her life. Rambo says Prachi did not want to kill Rhea. She had fight with me and that is why she opened the railings so that I can fall. He says he doesn't want to file any complaint. The inspector asks Rambo, do you want to save Prachi? Rambo says no, I am saying the truth. Prachi says don't do that and says she doesn't want any help or statement. She says I am not guilty and I trust the laws. She says I did not do this crime as I was not at home at that time. Rhea says to Prachi that how can I believe that you were not at home? The inspector says let me solve the case and says that they cannot arrest Prachi on the basis of doubt, but as the toolbox is found in her room, then we can give her the benefit of doubt. She has to prove that she is innocent, else we have to arrest her. Prachi signs on the papers. Rambo asks how can Prachi prove her innocence? The inspector says Prachi should tell them the timeline of where she was at that time. Shahana thinks of a conversation with Prachi that she cannot tell them that she has gone to a gynecologist for checkup. They all come out of the police station. Rambo looks at Prachi and signals to her to sit in the car. Rhea looks at them and hurries up to sit in the car with Rambo. A song plays in the background. Prachi, Shahana and Alia sit on the back seat. Rambo looks at Prachi. He drives off. They all reach home. Pallavi gives medicines to Grandma and asks what happened there. Did the inspector arrest Prachi? She sees Prachi and asks what is she doing here? She should be there. Prachi says I am here. Where should I be? Rambo tells Prachi that you cannot talk to mommy like that. Prachi says I have the right to reply. Pallavi says leave it. She should be ashamed to be caught, but she is not shameful to talk to us looking into our eyes. Rhea says she is showing attitude rather than apologizing. Rambo says that the police gave 5 days to Prachi to prove her innocence and says until the police says that she is a culprit, then we will not call her a culprit. Rambo asks them to be silent at least for him as he needs peace in this house. Pallavi asks Rhea about her bandage. Rhea says it was done at the police station. Rambo looks at Prachi as he goes. He recalls the inspector and Prachi's words. He calls an investigator and says that an innocent person is going to be jailed and I don't want that. He says I will meet you. Prachi comes there and asks Rambo that do you really think that I have done wrong? Rambo says I am sure that you have done wrong. Alia says everyone is ignoring what is happening here and says nobody can be wrong or good always. Pallavi asks that what did Alia wants to say? Alia says nobody can live here peacefully as there is no peace here. Grandma says there is a family in the house and they have fight. Alia tells Pallavi that the son and the daughter-in-law cannot live here peacefully and says Rambo is stressed and nobody could see his irritation. Alia says that the stress of 2 women is not letting Rambo leave. She says now he is doubtful that Prachi wants to kill Rhea and this is the reason that Prachi did not get arrested. And Prachi also says that she is innocent. She asks Pallavi that when will she give a chance to Rambo and says he is in distress and not mentally fine. Prachi asks Rambo, what do you think? That I can do wrong? Rambo says yes. He asks if you are done. Prachi says what do you mean? Rambo says it is a simple thing and says if I had told you that I want to support you, then you would have said that you don't need my support. Rambo says when 2 people's relationship gets stronger, they say I love you, but in our relationship, things get worse. He says he doesn't want to bond the memories with hatred and says today we couldn't look into each other's eyes. He says if we stop talking, then also it will not affect you. Rambo says you have said that you want to go away from me. Prachi says I remember and you have said that you want to be with Rhea. She says you used to hug her and save her and bring doctor for her. Rambo says don't waste your energy. You don't want my help. He says nothing happens with my thought and says the court decision matters. Prachi asks that who has kept the tools in my room. Rambo asks Prachi if she is doubting him. Prachi says we should not talk. Shahana is standing outside. Rambo asks her to come in. Shahana tells him that Prachi is innocent and asks Rambo to save her, else she will go to jail. Rambo goes out. Prachi comes to her room and sees Rhea sitting on the bed. She asks what is she doing here? Rhea says she is doing her work and she struck 2 dates on the calendar. She says 5 days left for you to be out. She asks her to prove her innocent or go to jail. She suggested to her to pack her bags and leave from here today. Rhea says she wants time to decorate the room and says she doesn't want to miss her. She asks, what do you think about going to jail? Will you prove your innocence or give up? It is good that the police will arrest you and I will not get peace to kick you out. She says I am having pain and I need to rest. Rhea says to Prachi that he should cut the date on the calendar. She says whatever you want to snatch my everything is your illusion and I will not let you take anything in my reality. And she asks her to come out of illusion and face the reality. As Rambro, this house and the family are all mine. Rhea asks Prachi that why are you acting helpless and asks her to say something. She says 5 days and she goes. Prachi sits on the bed and recalls Rhea's words. Rambro comes to Pallavi and asks what is she doing here. Pallavi asks why are you so surprised? I had gone to drop mommy to the room and I thought to come here. Rambro says definitely. You came to talk to me and asks what is the matter. Pallavi asks, why have you become irritated and heartless? Rambro asks if I don't know myself, or is it that my mother doesn't know me? He says I have so much love in my heart for a person, and that person doesn't love me. Rambro says to Pallavi that it has so much pain, and you are calling me heartless. Pallavi asks, why do you talk about Prachi? Rambro says everything is related to Prachi. He asks Pallavi and tells her that he wants to go away from Prachi, but he cannot. Rambro says he is not heartless, but he is helpless. Pallavi says Prachi has thrown Rhea's stuff out 2 days back, and like the stuff, she will throw Rhea too. Rambro says Prachi cannot do this. Pallavi says I was there and I saw everything. She misbehaved with me. She says Rhea was worried about my BP, but Prachi did not care for me or you. Pallavi asks Rambro to bear her words like a bitter medicines and says I don't want to see Prachi in this house. Rambro says no mom. Prachi can stay here until she wants. This house is of Prachi as well. He turns and finds Pallavi gone already. Later in the night, Rambro goes out of the house. Prachi looks at him and thinks that he is doing something secretly. He comes out of the house and meets someone. Prachi thinks that why did Rambro come out? Rambro gives the money to the person and says it has money and all the info which you needed. The detective says okay. Prachi doubts Rambro and thinks that Rambro doesn't want anyone to see him. The detective leaves. Rambro calls Prachi and asks her to come out and says he knows that she is hiding. Prachi comes out and asks who is he. Rambro says he is a private detective, Bijoy, whom I have hired. Prachi says to investigate the accident that happened in the house and says you have said that you will not help me as you don't care. Rambro says you don't care for anyone or their feelings and you have broken my heart many times. Rhea thinks that where is Prachi and Rambro? Where do they go? Prachi says to Rambro that I am not yet done. She says she doesn't need his help. Rambro asks Prachi not to give importance to herself. Prachi says why did you hire him? Rambro says so that I can get rid of this case at the earliest. Rhea smiles hearing them fighting. Pallavi asks that what is happening. Prachi asks her to ask her son. She says whatever happens here, I have 25% contribution here. Pallavi says I've never seen a mannerless girl like you. Prachi says if the truthfulness is bad manners, then I am mannerless. Pallavi says to Prachi that I asked you not to fight with Rambro. Prachi says I might try to stop, but it would happen. Pallavi says this woman is toxic. Rhea comes downstairs calling Pallavi and asks her not to say anything in front of Rambro as he couldn't see anything beyond Prachi. Rambro asks Rhea not to say anything. Rhea says why? I am your wife. Why did you marry me then? She asks him to take another vow, that she shall not speak when he talks. She says you have supported me in the police station and says that he had said that Prachi wanted to kill him and that is why she compromised with the knot and both of the balcony, but he did not want to file a case against her. Rhea asks if Prachi did not do anything when the attack was done on me. She says how can anyone take anyone's side? Rambro says ask Prachi once if I have taken her side. Prachi says finally you agreed. She says you got married to Rhea. Rambro says to Prachi that yes, I married Rhea as you left me. Prachi says yes, I left you as you had not left any option for me. You have said that all our relationships are over. She says I entered this house holding your hand and I had only one way. He says you are still in the house which you had left. Prachi holds her wedding necklace and says that as long as my wedding necklace is with me, I will stay here. Pallavi says there's no reason that this wedding necklace should be with you. Prachi says you don't have any right to ask me. She says when I was leaving the house, you did not stop me once. You did not tell me that I should calm down and everything will be fine. Prachi says to Pallavi that when you did not say it then, why are you saying it now? She says that day everyone were angry, but you should have come to me after 1 or 2 days. Rather than that, you got your son married to Rhea. She asks why is Rhea having the wedding necklace? Rhea says to Prachi that your sins don't get lessened when you count on others' mistakes. She pretends to be dizzy. Rambo makes her sit. Prachi says you used to do good acting in the college. Now you have become a professional. Pallavi says I will slap you now. Shahana asks Prachi to come with her. Vikram asks what is it? He says if you have raised hand on Prachi and if Shahana had held it, then you will get your own insult. Vikram asks Pallavi to maintain her dignity. Rambo asks Pallavi to raise hand as a mother and not as a mother-in-law. He says if you do, then I cannot give you respect which I shall give you. Rambo says Prachi is mine and says she knows well. Rhea thinks what shall I do when the fight happens and thinks to be loving towards Rambo so that he finds difference between Prachi and her. Pallavi thinks Prachi is spoiling a relationship between a mother and a son. Rambo thinks of Prachi's words. Vikram comes to Rambo and gives him suitcase. He says don't be surprised that I am saying this to you. He asks Rambo to take his important papers of his startup and leave from here. He says I know that your happiness is with Prachi. Hold her hand and take her away from here. Vikram says that this house has become a war zone and not Prachi's in-laws home. Vikram says I am the first father-in-law who is asking a son to elope with his daughter-in-law. He says I will get peace thinking that I have done a good thing in my life. Rambo smiles and asks if Vikram have a doubt that he is not a son. Vikram asks what are you saying? Rambo says Pragya has strong rules and that is why Prachi is like her. He says I asked Prachi to run with me but she said that she doesn't want to separate me from my family. Rambo returns the suitcase and says Prachi will come back to me and she will ask me to take her away from here. He says once everything is sorted and when Prachi trusts me, then I will take her away from here. He says I will send you the address and ask him not to share this with anyone. Shahana tells Prachi that she will go, but she will take her with her. Prachi asks what is in her mind. Shahana says there is tension in the house which cannot be solved easily. She says she is worried about Prachi's baby and says everyone is scolding Prachi. Shahana says to Prachi that nothing is good between Rambo and you due to the misunderstandings. Prachi says now she has no misunderstanding. She always thinks that Rambo loved her, but it is not true. Shahana says Rambo is a good guy and she wants to help you. Prachi looks on in shock. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, share it and please subscribe to my channel for more updates. Thank you.